Hey, Chris,
Now
how
we're
are you?
live. Good. How you doing, Anthony?
Chris Green. So Glenn Houseman, our beloved friend and partner, is taking care of his mom today. So he has some personal things to deal with. She's going to be okay. She had some cataract surgery, and Chris Green was scheduled to be here, so it was perfect. Now Chris Green's our co-host. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you, man? You guys been busy.
Yeah, we've been busy. We had a fun time yesterday at American Dream. However, we had a couple technical issues, so we're just coming over that. And so, how is it, man? How's Chesapeake
We're
running?
good. We're
We're
good.
like
We're good.
9 months in. We're nine
I
months
mean, we're
in.
we're good. I mean, that's the interesting question. Everybody asks that question, and the answer is, I mean, we're not great because what the business we love is still really struggling, and we still have people that are laid off that are struggling, and we really need support from our government. And I know that's going to be tough right now. But overall, we're tough people. Hospitality people are tough. You know that, Anthony. So we're grinding through it. I'm busy out trying to find new deals to add to the company, and we're working on how we handle labor shortages across, because what's happened now is some people have transitioned out of the business. So
Right.
in some of the key roles, we're really struggling to fill them and making sure that we stay after our people, that we help them through this time. There's lots to
So that's
do.
that's good to know. We're going to have a human resources fair, and
I
that's
saw
good to
that.
know that you have positions that are available. So we'll ask you. We didn't do our introduction, so we'll forego our introduction because I forgot. But what I want to talk about is I want to talk about something that I think is so powerful that it made me reach out to a manager and say, "Hey, I need you on my show."
Yeah.
So I'm a UFC fan. I'm an MMA fan. And every MMA fighter and every executive with the UFC was just praising the hotel that they were staying in. Once, just take that off for a second. Once Abu Dhabi, once this pandemic happened, the UFC needed to get these fights going, and if they didn't get them going, there's a lot of money at risk. So they figured out a way to open up the UFC by going to Abu Dhabi Fight Island. They came up with something called Fight Island. They did some in Vegas, but they also did it in Fight Island in Abu Dhabi. So as a follower of UFC, I was watching every week as they were at this beautiful hotel in Abu Dhabi at the W Hotel. And every fighter, after they lost or they won, I'm sorry, after they won, they would just praise the hotel that they were staying in. And I was like, I find that fascinating that the first thing they're talking about is the hotel. And if you think about it, it becomes like Park Clinic. It becomes your home. You're away from your family. You're nervous. You have all these insecurities, and you're going to fight. And the first thing you do is thank the hotel. So I was overwhelmed by that, and I reached out to the W on LinkedIn, and now I want to bring up that quote so we can. Dana White, who I don't know if Dana White and I would be best friends, outside of UFC, but I really like how he ran this. So we are at the W, and these people are so good at service. The service here is second to none. They built these food menus off the food they know I like from the last time I was here. Super, super dialed in on knowing what you need. W Abu Dhabi is the best. And that's what I love the most. And I love the fact that he used the word dialed in.
Yeah.
Because if I described you throughout this entire process, I would use that dialed in. And so what do you think about that?
I mean, to me, I'm excited about the guests we have on, and just hearing what you shared. I went and looked at one of Dana White's videos that he made about the W in Abu Dhabi. It's a gorgeous hotel, but the level of service, it reminds me of the things that we love to do. That people that truly love our business love to do, and when we do them right, there's no other business in the world when you can achieve that level of guest immersion into who you are. And I'm excited to talk to the guests you have today. And I think it was smart, Anthony, because we need this more than ever to remember why we do what we do.
Right. And I love the W Insider, right? The W Insider, if you want to call them concierge, whatever you want, they know the inside. They know what menu items you like. And when we were going to set this up, someone said, hey, they're not executives. They're just mid-level managers. I was like, that's what I want on the show. I want
Yeah.
more of that. I want to know. So without further ado, and we can run the guest video when we're ready, but Melanie and Camila from the W Hotel in Abu Dhabi are our guests. Let's go. Hello,
Hi.
ladies.
There they
How
are.
are you?
Hi.
How are you? Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. So first of all, just congratulations because you've gotten worldwide attention. Your team have gotten worldwide attention. What's that been like? You've become like celebrities of our industry.
Well, we're super proud, first of all. I mean, this was just an amazing and incredible 7 weeks.
Yes.
It was really intense, but it went by like that fast because simply what we're doing, we have so much fun at it. So every day in there was totally different from the other.
So explain to people, just so people who don't know and not UFC fighters, fans, tell them what happens. Okay, so the UFC is coming out. You start something called Fight Island, and
Correct.
tell me the protocols from the second they get on the island to the second they get into the ring. Like, what happens?
Yeah. So basically, Fight Island is real because it's on an island, which is Yas Island in Abu Dhabi. And what happened is that the government decided to do a safe zone, meaning the hotel was only open for the event, for UFC, to keep us employees, but also the guests safe. So that's what happens. We were in this together with the guests, and it was an incredible experience.
Absolutely.
But explain how everyone has to behave. Like everybody's got to be tested. Everyone's got to be quarantined. So when they're being quarantined, they have to train and they have to cut weight, and there's so much going on that they typically don't have. So what is the strangest or the weirdest thing that you had to provide someone that you can talk about?
No, basically, what you mentioned, they had to train in the room. So we were kind of thinking, how can we do that if they have to be quarantined? So we were giving them what they need, all the equipment in the room. We were also providing them training rooms where they can train. We were providing them with equipment to work out, training mats. We were actually redoing the whole hotel just for them. So they have all the possibilities they need to be prepared for the fight. So whatever they need, they got it from us, providing our whatever, whenever service.
Yeah, what I loved is Dana White actually showed his room. I was going to show the video, but there was too many F words in there, so I decided not to show it. But he showed. But he showed.
Actually not a room. It's a whole. I don't know what you want to call it. A whole house.
It's like a whole apartment.
Yeah. So what you see is our extreme wow suite, which has 2 levels and a private pool. And Camila and myself, we wanted to make him feel home, away from home. And we gave him all the personal touches he needs to make him really feel comfortable where he's staying for this long time. So we also provided him with a private gym and with like quotes, which he also has in his home, in his office, everywhere. So he really feels like you're really good, taking good care of him.
What I liked was the time before you guys gave him a gym, and that pool is in his suite, and he said he wanted some floaties. So you guys gave him these floaties, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah, definitely. So we knew from the last time what he wants, and we picked up on that, and we gave it to him right on time when he arrived. And we also not even gave everything upon arrival. Also during the stay, we added different kind of moments which he didn't even expect.
So tell us what we're looking at right here on the screen.
So that is Dana's candy shop. So we know that he actually likes sweets. So he's a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
So we pick up from that, as Melanie was saying, and we just make him feel like home because he was going to stay with us for 5 weeks. So it was going to be a long time. And we just decided to see from like his previous UFC, like the preference on the sweets that he was having, and then taking it from that to build something more personalized, because that's the whole purpose of it. We wanted him to feel like he was home.
So we provided him with his own candy store and his own bar set up with the drinks he likes. So he has like his own bar where he can mix his drinks after a fight night or before going out.
So tell me about, so since I kind of come from the operational angle of all this, tell me about when your team told you this was booked, when the planning started, and what was there an idea session that was held among the team of how to support the guests?
Yeah.
How far out did you start planning for arrival, and how did that go?
We started straight away. So basically, as soon as we got the confirmation, we sat together with the team and we decided on what can we do and how would be our check-in process, and we had everything in place pretty much in time to go through everything, also to get everything we want for his suite. It needed a lot of preparation. So we actually came up with the whole plan straight away.
Good.
Yeah, and I love the word he used, dialed in, because like how much stress? I mean, you guys have been in the business, so I want to talk about your background in a second, but were you stressed or were you just happy to be able to do this, or a little bit of both?
Absolutely. For me, it was a mixture of both. I was nervous, but once I was in, I was only happy. But of course, at first you're nervous if everything is working out like you have it in your mind. But yeah, having such a supportive team, especially having Camila, it was amazing. And yeah, once you're in it, you're just happy and things are just going
I think that you're always nervous about the outcome, but then when things just go through and then you put your passion and then you're organized with your team, the execution just speaks up for itself. And the best way to know that you did a great job is having comments like Dana White saying what he said and the feedback of the guests and seeing them posting everything on social media.
Correct.
So it's one of the things that we feel super rewarded afterwards. Like it was a great execution.
Yeah.
What was your favorite comment from any guest or a post that somebody made about what you guys did? Is there one that stands out?
I just have one in mind where the people really mention every time that they felt home away from home. And that really touches me because it was such a long period. We're all away from home. We're all in this uncertain situation where we're not knowing what is actually happening around us, and basically making them feel safe, but then also making the guests feel that we really care for them and we are actually personalizing everything. And they actually remember the names of the talents who took care of them. That just means the most to me. Not a particular one, but actually all of them were just amazing, all the feedback.
Did you guys open up the outlet? Okay, so I know your hotel has 499 rooms. How many rooms were occupied during the event? And then did you open up your food and beverage outlets? Was everything open? All the services were open during the hotel?
Correct. So we basically had two of our pools. So all of our pools operating. We have two. We had all of our outlets operating. So we have a bar called W Lounge. We have the restaurant called Garage, which is where you can have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have Amici, which is Italian, and Angar, which is Indian. So we had all of our outlets operating, and the whole hotel was sold out for the event.
Okay. Wow. So, and UFC was picking up the entire bill for everything, right?
Yes.
So my biggest bill, you don't have to share this, but my biggest bill in the hotel business was the King of Morocco in 1992 that stayed at the Plaza Hotel. For 1 week, it was a $2 million bill in 1992. Wow. Wow. Were they close? You don't have to say. You don't have to say. Now, because it was the safest place on earth, literally, because you had to be tested constantly, was there social distancing, or could you feel normal within what they call the bubble?
So basically, yes, you could feel very normal and safe within the bubble, but of course we had our restrictions. So everything was in line with the government and all the safety precaution measures were in place. There was social distancing, PPE like masks, gloves is a must, limitations on tables, seating arrangements. It all was taken care of so to keep us safe, but also the guests. And yes, we were both tested regularly, us, but also the guests.
So you were in the bubble, which was the safest place on earth, literally, because you were tested constantly, but you still had that social distancing. And I'll tell you something, the reason I had you guys on and the reason I'm so impressed with the way they did it was they were the first sports league to do something like this. And then everybody else said, okay, what did they do? They had a book this big of standards and they gave it to other sports leagues so other sports leagues could come and do the same thing. And again, they were dialed in and you were dialed in. There's nothing better than you working with a customer that has extremely high standards. I like customers that are very, very tough and difficult and give you challenges that are almost impossible. I love that because it tells me how good my team is.
True.
Right? If you can accomplish that.
Yeah. So basically, as I mentioned, our hotel was also one of the first hotels in Abu Dhabi to be certified with the Go Safe program from the government, which actually has all the protocols in place, which we are following. And also the commitment to clean from Marriott really helps us to keep our guests safe. So we have all of these things in place, and we're working very well with it. We had
So you
cases.
had so you had to have a standard from the government before you even
Yeah.
operated. Chris, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the only way to do it, though. And talking to the team here before we got on, it was fascinating what they went through to be able to even host this event, to just be ready. So I think it's an example we can all take if, when we get to that stage where we start reopening to certify. It's what the AHLA is trying to do, Anthony, with some of the stay safe standards, and the hotels that are opting into it here. It's just a wider dispersion of hotels and operators in the U.S. This was a very confined environment. I feel like you could do it. And, as a matter of fact, I traveled last week down to Orlando and stayed in one of the on-property hotels at Universal, and they did an amazing job of keeping things under control. So I think we're getting there.
Yeah, and most hotels are doing a great job. I've been traveling, and I haven't seen anybody screw up. I've seen everybody do the right thing. So ladies, I want to do two things. One, I want you to tell me about Abu Dhabi, and then I wanted you to tell me about your backgrounds and how you got into your position. So you can take that question, the second one first, the first one second. So go ahead.
Sure. So basically, for myself, I grew up in the Middle East. I grew up in Kuwait and in Bahrain. So I come from a typical hotelier family. My dad is a GM for Radisson, but I never wanted to step in his footsteps. I wanted to go my own way. So basically, I started off working in our family-owned hotel, which has 20 rooms. Then I went to the biggest conference hotel in Austria with 600 rooms, and which was a Hilton hotel. Then I went to a Marriott Hotel Renaissance. And then I just decided I want to go back to the Middle East. I want to go out to the world. And that's how I landed in Abu Dhabi. And being a front office manager here is just amazing. So all the things I have learned it's just incredible. I have a huge team, but I'm very happy I did that decision.
Great. That's amazing.
Now your turn.
Now my turn. Okay, so I'm from Colombia, and I studied hospitality in the city where I was born in, and then throughout my experience in my university, I had an opportunity to go and start with Disney. That was my first internship, and I would consider myself always like a very service-oriented person, very people's person. So I would say that the opportunity of going to Disney really shaped me into the hospitality industry itself. Like it's so merged into it and making people's dreams come true. Because as I was saying, since I'm a very people's person, after that, then I went and did another internship, which was in Barcelona. I had the opportunity to do with Ritz-Carlton over there. And then right after that, I came to the Middle East because I had an opportunity of opening Renaissance. It was the first Renaissance in the Middle East as a guest relations coordinator. And then after 2 years of actually putting, how they pursue the number one on TripAdvisor and how making guests feel recognized and make them feel appreciated, because we have so many people coming from all over the world having exceptional service throughout their lives, and just being able to make it memorable is what put me through this position, which now I am the W Insider here in W Abu Dhabi. And then it's the person who actually makes the impossible possible. So it's a really great opportunity to actually be connected with the guests and just making them feel like this is our home and they're just more than welcome to be with us.
And what I like, and you can explain a little bit about the Insider, but I think you did. You said basically you make the impossible possible. You're like a consultant, a free agent, an entrepreneur within the building. It's like you're allowed to go and just get it really, really dialed in for that person. Like when Dana White said they remembered my food items and then they had the menu, what I wanted, and that you actually titled it the way he speaks. And I won't tell you what you titled it, but I love the fact that you were able to do that. And again, Dana White is probably a billionaire, and he has been to the best hotels in the world. There is nothing this man hasn't seen. So that his words got me inspired to have you on, because if you can impress people like that, I always say all the time, it's not. I ran the Algonquin Hotel in New York City, and we had a cabaret called the Oak Room. And I told my team, the people in this room bought it, sold it, invented it. You're not going to impress them with food. You're not going to impress them with chairs or chandeliers. You're going to impress them with your spirit. You're going to impress them with a level of service and anticipation. They've never, you've anticipated every one of his needs. And that's what an insider does, right?
Exactly. Yes, definitely. We just literally know exactly what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. I think it's like a skill that you develop during hospitality and how to read people, because this is the most important thing. Like you would have guests coming from all over the world, different cultures, especially here in the Middle East, which is like a very
so many cultures, so many
multicultural.
different nationalities.
Exactly. That you just really have to go in depth and to know the person that you're willing to welcome to your hotel in order to provide that exceptional personalized services, which is what brings the difference, what makes the difference.
True.
Yeah. So I have a question for Camila. Camila, so when you are dealing with such a cross-pollination of people coming from all over the world, how do you make sure that when you have a guest arriving from the U.S. and then you have a guest arriving from Iran or Italy, how do you make sure that the staff is aware and doesn't unintentionally offend that guest through a service protocol that may be different for us? The US, we're freewheeling, whatever, but maybe a stricter environment. How do you prepare for that?
Honestly, I think that what's important is to ace the basics. Like you just need to understand that anyways, you're hosting a person at a hotel, which is a 5-star hotel. So you just pick up from that to know that you're giving the full service in a way where you can also put a little bit of your personality, because this is what makes us different. And this is what is the most important thing about W, and it's to know that you're actually mixing your personality alongside with your career, and then it's like the mixture of the service and the professionalism at the same time, but we're putting a little bit of heart, because we cannot forget that hospitality is the field that is combined with your personality, with the service that you can provide, and just to not make it robotic or make it like a script. So you have to be a little bit of like, you have to definitely have passion for what you're doing in order to achieve this difference of actually connecting with people that are traveling all over the world, and just set up a stand like from where you can stand up from, and then you just pick up from there, and then the guest just moves along with you, and you're the one who has the way of doing things. It's not them, but it's you who invite them into your tiny world where you're just literally hosting them for like the vacations or whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
Anthony, I think Camila deserves a quote. Ace the basics. You got to give her one of your quotes.
100.
It's one of our foundations in W. We have a
100%.
Oh, okay. Well, we can give it to you today. So.
And one of the things we're looking at, for the people that can't see it, I just put on screen, or our producer David just put on screen, the W. That's your hotel, right?
Yeah,
that's our hotel.
Our second home, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I love is your passion. On my card, it says passion changes everything. Every one of my business cards, on my tombstone, it would say passion changes everything. And why I wanted to have you guys on is because I didn't know you. I didn't know what your background was. I just knew when someone like Dana White, and I was watching a fight on Saturday night, and one of the fighters, before he thanked his mother or thanked his God or thanked UFC, he thanked you guys.
Yay!
What's that? And that's what got me. I was like, you know what? I got to do this. I mean, this is unbelievable.
Yay.
But you're also a tremendous example of what the industry does. You're both from different places. You're in a neutral place that you didn't grow up in, and you've come together as family and as a team, inviting people from all over the world. And of course you care about your career, and of course you care about money, and you care about all things everybody cares about. But your first priority is accomplishing what the guest wants. And the only way for you to ever get to the level that you need to get to is to be passionate about what you want. If you worry about the money and you worry about the position, you're never going to get there.
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
So give me an example with something you can talk about, that you got a text or you got a call, maybe it was in the middle of the night, maybe it was whenever, and someone said, we got a problem, and something that you had to deal with. Anything that comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, during the hotel, I mean, during this event also, we had a lot of things. I mean, in every hotel things go wrong, but it's always about how you recover it. How are you dealing with it? How are you doing your follow-up? And in W, we always have to follow up in style, but not only once, also a check out to make sure the guests really is leaving happy. So
True.
yes, we had also some issues
All right.
because the racetrack around our hotel was open. So we had some noise complaints, obviously. And this unluckily happened before the fight night. So of course we had some complaints. But in the end, the people were still happy because just how we dealt with it, how we recovered it.
True.
So,
I would like to also add on to that our motto is whatever, whenever. So whatever the guest wants, whenever they need it, as long as it's legal,
we will make
we'll
it
make it
happen.
happen. So
True.
there's no way of saying no. You just need to figure it out and
Or find an
understand,
alternative.
find an alternative, and like just trying to figure it out. Because in the end, they are the ones who need it, and then we just try to make it possible.
Yeah.
Well, I usually don't speak for people, but I'm going to speak for Chris and for myself. If you ever come back this way, you both have jobs with us.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm actually a fan of Hotel Impossible.
Well, thank you very much. So one of the things, since you didn't bring up one of the things, I'll bring up something I found funny. I talk about an insurance policy. An insurance policy meaning the second the guest knows he's going to your hotel to the second he leaves, you build up an insurance policy. So when there is a problem, if you built up that insurance policy, they're like, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. So Dana White, when he first checked in, his pool was draining into Matt Serra's balcony, and he talked about it. But what was interesting. So let me finish my thought. He basically, the pool was draining over the balcony into Matt Serra, who's a coach.
Yes, it was in Matt's room. That was so embarrassing.
Right, and so the reason I mention it is because Dana White thought it was funny because he felt so comfortable, and that's another reason I want to have you on, because these people are ripped out. Not ripped, but they were in quarantine. They have to come out there. They're away from their family. This is their job. If they win, they make more money. If they lose, they may never fight again. And so all their insecurities, everything is literally bubbling up. Every person there, including Dana White, was like a 3-year-old child that needed to be pampered. And I don't mean that emotionally, but I kind of do. But you needed to give them an environment where wherever, whenever, done. And also I want to mention something, that the fights went on at 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning where you were. So we can watch it here in America. So did you guys work 24/7?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. You don't really have a working time, but it's fine because you know what you committed to, basically. And of course, it doesn't matter what time the fight was. We still wanted to be there to welcome them back.
True.
So hold on a second. You said something very interesting that people here may not understand. And Chris knows exactly what I'm going to say. Do you want to say it, Chris? Or do you want me to say it?
Go ahead.
We don't have a working time. Explain that.
Well,
I know what that means. Go ahead.
Well, we don't have a working time because the guests can sleep at any time, and especially knowing that they're coming from the U.S. had a different time zone and sleep pattern. So, for example, for me, it was also a bit like trying to accommodate that in order to fulfill whatever need happened during their stay at whatever time, whenever they need it. So, this was managing their time and managing our time.
Well, that is an absolute, I appreciate that. And that's a tribute to you guys. So now let's talk about Abu Dhabi, because a lot of people have no idea where it is. They don't know what to expect. I fell in love with it by watching all the tape things that they did to show how beautiful it is. So what can I expect once everything's normalized? What can I expect when I fly into Abu Dhabi? What am I going to see? What destination should I go to? So a little commercial about Abu Dhabi.
Well, you have a lot to expect. Yes. First of all, beautiful weather the whole year around, no matter when you're coming. So basically we have a lot to offer. We have a beautiful mosque, the Grand Mosque. We have the Louvre, the same, which is in Paris as well, for Emirates Palace. We have a lot more. I don't want to spoil everything.
Yes, I mean, pretty much like Abu Dhabi is the capital of the UAE, so the United Arab Emirates,
which consists of 7 emirates.
Correct.
The whole UAE has about 10 million people living here. Mm-hmm. Well, the most of them are actually people coming from different countries, and it's very multicultural. You get a lot of good food. I'm a foodie, she's a foodie, so you can expect amazing food.
True.
Because we have so many cultures. and you can also expect beautiful
Oh my God,
beaches.
beautiful sunsets as well.
Yeah.
Like people come here as well for desert safari and then riding camels and understanding the culture of the locals here. It's such a different level because it's just to put yourself in the shoes of the locals and experience also this indigenous experience that brings up like the connection with the country itself and with like the city as well as it's Abu Dhabi, since it's a bit more different than Dubai. As
Yeah,
you guys
everyone
know that it's
knows-
more cosmopolitan and
correct.
it's a very loud city. But then Abu Dhabi is a little bit more
Relaxed.
relaxed and conservative. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Chris, isn't it interesting? Can't you see the level of respect not only they have for somebody else's culture, but they have for this industry?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that some of the comments that you heard here are, and I know especially about the working time, I think that that's really reflective of when hospitality is truly in your heart, you realize that it's not really bound by schedules. It's bound by the needs of those you are serving. And that's,
Yeah.
I mean, once you understand that part of our business, everything else becomes easy and fun because you're just trying to meet needs. I mean, I love the opportunity these ladies have because they get to meet needs and satisfy people's wants as far as travel. And we can do the same thing here in the US and we can do it all over the world. You just need to think about those special touches that matter to those guests. And even at a lower scale hotel, Anthony, it's completely doable. I stayed at a hotel in Arizona at a golf tournament. It was a good hotel, but I like to have a bottle of water by my bed at night. Just I wake up at night, dry mouth, so I have a bottle of water. And the room attendant, the housekeeper for this hotel, the second day I was there, left me a note that said, "Mr. Green, I noticed that you like to have water by your bed. I refreshed it for you today." That's a very simple gesture, but I'll never stay anywhere else when I go out there just because that was just one. It was a bottle of water and a note. So
You know, and that's what it is. So, ladies, I'm going to wrap it up here. But that's kind of the feeling I got before I even met you, and then after hearing you articulate that, you know, you literally make this industry proud. You make my heart warm because I'd love to see that there's people a lot younger than me and Chris coming up that are going to take our jobs. And one of the things that I try to teach, and you can't teach it, is there are going to be complaints, and you don't have to fall in love with every one of your guests. You're not going to like everyone. However, it is not your job to be annoyed. And what I don't like about service is you're allowing them to annoy you. And everybody knows I have a strong personality, but in all the years I've been in this business, I've never had one guest complain about me. Not one. Because I'm not annoyed about their problems. I want to fix their problems. And then when they go away, I may not have to see them again. So I'm not bringing them home with me. So, and there's something about the way you speak and the way you present yourselves that people don't understand that is a PhD in hospitality. If you can figure that out, that's a PhD. I know people with PhDs that haven't figured that out. The spirit of hospitality is you know, it's by definition, we have to be hospitable, right?
Exactly.
And if you don't have that in your heart, there's no amount of money or position that's ever going to drive that heart. So thank you so much. So I'm going to ask you for a shameless plug for the hotel or for your own social media accounts, whatever you want to do. So give us a shameless plug. Tell us where people can find the W Hotel. What social media?
Well, at W Abu Dhabi for sure on Instagram,
Yes.
and then wherever you just use the hashtags at W Abu Dhabi as well, you can find us.
Yes, absolutely. Or on the Marriott website, you just go Abu Dhabi and you look for the best hotel, which is us.
Don't leave until I get there because I'll be coming to Abu Dhabi once this is all over. All right.
I'm having you already.
We'll make
Thank
it
you.
epic.
Thank you. You guys are a blessing to the industry. Thank you.
it was nice talking to you, ladies. Great job.
How great was that?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, if I could do that all day, just hearing from that kind of energy and excitement.
You just said it. That kind of energy. Like people say to me, Anthony, do you wake up like this? And I'm like, kind of, I do. Like the other day I was talking to my wife. It's like, I have one bad day a year. One. During quarantine, I've had 4 so far. So I'm like, okay, I'm way over my bad days. And what I mean by that is when you love what you do, why are you waking up in a bad mood? You just go do it. Matter of fact, I was having a bad day yesterday, and I was just like, I talked myself out of it. And that passion and that spirit of what they have, when people say, what's your best quality? It's like, I build teams. I get those two young ladies, I put them in whatever department they want to run. This is the budget. Go run it. Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness. Go do it. You just leave them alone.
Yeah, I think, Anthony, I mean, there's so many good points there that you made, and that with those ladies that you can see. But this is what I love about our business is you can, it's an old quote, hire the passion and teach them the skills. But that's a perfect example there. Those two you could hand them the keys to the rooms division manager or F&B service, and they would figure it out because they're going to drive and they love what they're doing. The other thing that you said that I think is great is when you have a spirit of curiosity, which is something I talk about all the time, and you come from a position of, okay, this guest has not a problem, but an opportunity for me, and I'm curious, okay, how do I solve this for this guest? Then you're always looking at positives. You're not looking at negatives, and it keeps your mentality focused on the good instead of going, oh my gosh, another problem guest. That's not what we should be doing. We should be focusing on and being curious about how do we solve it. And those two just gave you great examples. So.
Very well said. And is there any doubt in your mind that if you were running a shopping mall or a car company or an apartment building, or you were running Coca-Cola, and you put them in any position that they were passionate about, that they would figure it out?
Nope, none at all. Nor do I think that great leaders in our business and hospitality, I mean, our skills are so transferable. Why do you think the dental industry has, over the past 15 years, hired tons and tons of consultants out of hospitality to make their lobbies more inviting, to ask them what they care about, to check on them when they're in the lobby, to get them coffee and refreshments, or same thing at car dealerships, because they realized hospitality is a language that crosses all barriers and it drives sales. So
a language that crosses all barriers. I want to end on that note. Give us your final quote, and then I'm going to take us out of here.
Hospitality is something that you got to love, and if you love it, you got a job for the rest of your life.
Thank you, my friend. And as I say every day, man, I am passionate about this industry, and I know it's tough goings right now, but it's going to get better. And always remember, be kind to yourself. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, buddy.